Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
All right, so it's 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get started. We'll start by standing for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great, we're gonna start with the special town meeting warrant. Greetings in the name of the state of Maine. You are hereby directed to notify and warn the voters of the said town of Canton qualified to vote in town affairs to meet at the municipal building meeting room on Thursday, January 11th, 2024 in D at 6 p.m. Then and there to act upon Articles 1 and 2 being the following. Article 1, to choose a moderator to preside at said meeting.
I nominate Robin McClintock.
Second.
Any discussion?
All in favor?
All in favor? And it does need to be a written ballot. There has to be at least 2. Three for Robin.
Can I do it?
Oh.
I could swear at you.
Article 2, to see if the town of Canton will approve a solar facility moratorium ordinance to allow the town's planning board time to develop suitable regulations governing such facility. And there's a copy of it on the table. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of the moratorium?
Yeah.
All those against?
But I'm gonna do
Discussion.
discussion.
Now it's got, oh yeah.
Do discussions first.
Do that first.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna make a motion.
After your motion, then
That's
you
your
can do.
motion, before you vote.
Discussion. Questions?
Okay.
Wait, we got one comment.
Diane, you have questions about the moratorium? I do not.
Fine.
See, I knew ahead of time. Then we adjourn the meeting.
No,
No,
now you gotta
okay,
take a
now.
vote. You gotta take-
All those in favor of the moratorium? Anybody against? Now, we adjourn.
You can.
Yes.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you,
still gotta get
Robin.
sworn in, but yeah.
Swear.
So what that will do, that'll give us 180 days to work with the planning board, to come up with a solar ordinance in town. So keep an eye out, the planning board will be putting out some information on looking for townspeople to come in and, help give some input in terms of things that you might want, might not want. So keep your eyes open for that and there'll be more info coming out soon.
All the planning board meetings are open to the public, come anytime. I'll be a good time.
And I think, isn't there at least one open spot on the planning board too?
There is.
Great time to join.
So is the project that was gonna happen over that way not happening now?
At this point, because we just put the moratorium in, all solar is on hold. Yeah, anything that, the only one that is continuing to move forward would be the one up on Edmonds Road, because that one's already through the permitting and stuff.
I didn't know if that one was still.
It's still a viable project. They're still working on it. They're waiting for the final approval from the utility. And I know this is happening, and they said the timing for them is fun, but. I think they're doing it the summer time.
And who was that?
Is that the two big white notebooks over there, that's their application?
It was,
Olive wood, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
Hollywood Energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it.
It's either Connecticut or New Hampshire, yeah. All right, any other questions on that before we move on to our regular meeting? All right. All right, so we will move in and any agenda adjustments? We have NIMS compliance training to add. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. All right, approval of the minutes from our regular meeting on 12/28.
I make a motion to approve as written. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay. Old business comprehensive plan update, Diane?
In the works. Could be probably in March, we'll have some, earlier public hearings again. To review that.
Okay. New business, the Community Resilience Partnership.
Claire is here from the project. I'm wearing the box. Forward. Thanks so much for having me. Please, sorry to shoot for everyone who doesn't know me. I work at the Center for Ecology-Based Economy in Norway. And I'm here tonight to share a little bit about the opportunity to get grant funding and receive technical support from us. And that's through Maine's Community Resilience Partnership. I have some handouts here.
You can set yourself on the table if you need to.
Thank you. So I can just pop it all there. You can jump to that. There's two documents there. So one is a little description of the program and what this work would look like, and the other is a letter of intent, which we'll get to shortly. But to be brief, the Community Resilience Partnership is a program that the state of Maine started in 2022 to help communities reduce their energy usage and become more resilient to some of this extreme weather we've been seeing, like that storm in December and other impacts of climate change. And so this program does that through grants of up to $50,000. These are no match grants, so that means the town doesn't need to kick anything in. And they also fund service providers like CV to help towns enroll in the partnership and apply for their first grant. Because they've seen that towns with limited capacity who don't necessarily have a whole planning department or a bunch of people on staff have a hard time going after these opportunities. And so that's where CV would come in. We can help guide you through the enrollment process. And so what that looks like is filling out some resilience self-assessments. We hold 2 public meetings so that people have an opportunity to weigh in. And we help your town identify resilience priorities that you would want to pursue funding for. After that, we'll help you submit your first grant. We usually take care of all the grant writing, gathering estimates, doing all of that work. We've also been trying to build kind of a regional network. And so there's a lot of other communities in Western Maine who have now enrolled in the partnership, and we help you connect with them, explore potential collaborative projects that you could get more funding for. And so that's a basic overview of the program. And so the way we get funded is we have to submit an application to the state with a list of the towns who have said they want to work with us. And unfortunately, that deadline is coming up very quickly. February 2nd is our deadline. And so that's where the letter of intent comes in. That's something the state asks us to submit with our grant application, just saying that Canton has agreed to work with us, that we want to go through the process. And so that's an overview. That's what I'm here to talk about. And welcome any questions or. Yeah.
I have some questions. Of course. But I'd like to know a couple of examples of resilient projects and also who are you getting your grant funding from?
So we're getting our grant funding, I'll start with the second question there. We're getting our funding from the governor's office for policy innovation in the future, GOPIP, which are the ones who manage this grant program. And so that's from the same, program that the community action grants would be coming from. As for examples of projects, there's a wide range of towns we've worked with have really gone heavily into energy efficiency projects like weatherizing town buildings, installing LED lights, heat pumps, upgrading appliances, and things of that nature. Some towns have put solar on the roof of the town office. Others have looked at watershed planning, so making sure their lakes and water bodies are, healthy and safe. We've had towns look at complete streets planning, so that means like pedestrian and bicycle safety. And there's a whole list of over 70 actions that are qualified for these grants.
I think as part of the comprehensive plan, there's probably half a dozen things that are in the comp plan works now that might fall into this.
That's exactly what I was thinking of, Diane.
File of that stuff.
Yeah, and I'll say we've had towns, so we worked with CASA, and they decided to work with us on the tail end of their comprehensive plan because they identified all these projects that would be good fits. And so they're actually the ones who are doing that complete streets planning because of their comprehensive plan. And so they were able to get $50,000 to help go through that process.
Yeah.
It's all in your mind, Carol.
Questions?
No, Diane asked my question and then commented exactly what I was thinking on the answer, so.
How long of a process is it to go through from application to actually getting funding?
So we would begin working with you on the enrollment sometime this spring. It'll depend when we hear back from the state, but we're expecting March, April. We'll probably get started working with you in April, May. So from April, May through to the fall deadline, which they're saying December, we'd be working together. At that point, we'd help you submit your first grant in December. And usually it's about a month, sometimes 2 months before the award announcements are made. So if your grant is selected, you probably hear back about it in January, February of 2025, and then have a year or up to 2 years to finish that project.
How competitive is it?
It's becoming more competitive. At this point, over 175 towns have enrolled in the partnership. That doesn't mean all 175 apply for each grant round. But we have seen it become more competitive. We've also seen the state kind of adapting to that as they can, giving priority to first-time applicants. They've also been opening up new grants outside of this base program. And so this winter, we're seeing one-off grants that are exclusive to towns enrolled in the partnership from DOT, and also a special energy efficiency priorities grant. And so we've started to see them trying to mitigate this influx of towns going for these grants by giving other options. And so as a service provider, we would help you navigate what makes sense. Are there other funding opportunities where you have a better shot? Because unfortunately, it has become a competitive grant process. But we do have a good success rate. I'll say we only had one out of 12, 13 grants that was not funded, and that was for kind of a specific case where it wasn't really a good fit. And so
How long has the program been?
it's been since 2022, and so we've been working with communities since the start. On the back of the sheet that says main community resilience partnership, there's a list of the towns we worked with and the grants that we received.
Is the pool funding renewed every year, or is it just a lump sum and when it's gone, it's gone?
It's in the biennial budget, and so they reapprove it every 2 years.
So would you have to reapply if you didn't get it the first time, or would it be?
on like a waiting list?
So you would have to reapply.
And have the letter intent, so if we fill out the letter intent, say that, you know, we intend to work with you, how long does that, the letter intent good for? Do you have to fill, do we have to do one every year?
So that would be for this particular
Funding
grant
period,
that we're going for
Okay.
at the end of January. And so, if for whatever reason we didn't receive that, we would have to ask for another letter of intent because it does specify the grant number on the
Mhm.
letter. but-
so say we didn't have any projects to enroll in this particular funding period, would we be able to say, oh, we don't want to enroll this right now? Because for whatever reason, we want to enroll in the future?
Yes, so that could totally be an option. In that case, we probably wouldn't ask for a letter of intent right now. We would just say, hey, we'll let you know when we're seeking our next cohort. That will also be in December, so. Yeah, we'd be coming back to you October, November to ask about that. But at that point, you know, then you're looking at applying for your first grant in summer 2025, probably. And so you just want to be mindful that you push that process back, push all of the enrollment and.
Right, thank you.
Any other questions or? Motions or?
Is there a cost to the town to do this with you?
No, so it's totally cost free. That's because it's technically we're funded on a grant from the state, and so. Yeah, there's no cost to the town.
I can think of a couple we could
Mm,
try to get, so.
I can think of a few things we could look at.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to do the letter of intent and form the partnership.
Agreed, second.
I have a motion and a second to partner with CB to look at the, to fill out the letter of intent and go for some grant funding. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Well, have a good.
You do.
Well,
If you guys have a copy of that, you have like words box.
Yep.
Sure.
There's,
Yeah, there's an extra one, so we'll stick it there.
all right, B, disaster relief fund. We have a request. That's just after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. See the request.
You have your complete something, to look for a whole of one, to get a further certificates, do this assistance through. Lively. I
Yeah.
think it is.
Yeah.
We could have got it,
Mhm. This was one we were talking about last time that lost the wood, right?
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did she also put in for the FEMA stuff?
yes,
She did.
But I don't know, I see what, a damaged list, but I don't see a
Right.
request for anything.
That's. Yeah, all I have are the pictures.
So while the request isn't written in the email, she's asking for a quota wood to get her until light heat kicks in. Do we know when her appointment is?
20.
Okay.
You said a 20.
Which one? January?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes light heat could be February,
I
April,
know.
March.
We have the heating assistance money that came in from the wind towers. But the one thing we haven't discussed yet is what we're gonna use for, guidelines around that and how we're gonna let the town know that we have that. Cause we probably should be putting it out there that, we have this money that was given to us by the wind towers and this is the procedure we're gonna use to go with it.
Yeah.
The other option we could do, if you guys wanted to, we could look at doing something out of our other disaster recovery fund.
What's the name right now?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. It had, I think, 5,000 in it last time we knew.
The money that
But there's
came
no-
from the one,
Right.
We would need a dollar amount request
Mm-hmm.
to even consider it.
Yep.
I'm not just gonna arbitrarily say, okay, you can have X amount of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
That's
No,
my issue with it.
Yep.
yeah, I'd be perfectly
Agreed.
fine with her getting, costs of what the wood's gonna cost and then, but I'm thinking if we got money from the windmills for heating assistance, then that's what we pull from. We just need to make guidelines, which I'm thinking should kind of look like what the general assistance procedure looks like.
But should we
Agreed.
make that
But
available to everybody before we pick one?
I think,
Oh, yeah,
I-
right. I mean, we
I-
can't approve this without a dollar amount
No.
anyway.
no,
No, I didn't agree, I was just wondering.
right, but like I say, on top of it, it has to go out to the entire town that,
Yeah.
hey, we have this pot of money and this is the way to get it.
Mhm.
We can't just award money from something that nobody knows about.
Right.
So I think we do
Yeah.
need to,
I think that's a good idea, going through like the GA process. To, eliminate or truly identify need.
Mhm. Mhm. So, my thought is, can you get back to her and ask her to get some prices on what a cord of wood is gonna be, and then submit those prices as the official request? And then, at the same time, we'll put out we have this money. And what the
Is there gonna
guidance,
be a need for like what if she gets, John Smith down the road and has some wood and can deliver it? Or do you get somebody who actually is a business owner or, do you agree with your guys on that? I'm not sure.
no, I,
anywhere she wants.
Yeah.
yeah, just the dollar amount
Yeah.
of like what. the
We need
cord of
something
wood's
in
gonna
writing so
cost.
that there's just something for us to go by.
I think it'll be challenging to get a quarter of drawing wood, because we've lost people the last 4 days, we just found out back today. But we were burning wood, which we don't normally burn.
Mhm.
So we did like nothing. I called around the last 2 days, I got, you don't deliver 4 cords and you only get green.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Quarter drawing wood. They're like, good luck.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's that time of year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't get,
Mhm.
nobody would call me back, it's like, something.
Mhm.
But if she has a connection and knows somebody that does have dry wood, you can give her a price. But yeah, at the same time, I think that we need to announce that we have this money available and these are the guidelines to get it.
I think we can put that in, Aaron's working on the crier now, right?
Yeah.
Yep, so that can be put in the crier. That the town was given $3,000 for heating assistance from the wind towers. And then they can reach out to the town office if they have a need. And they'll have to come up with a form very similar to the general assistance form.
That's 5-page application.
I was gonna say,
Yep.
that's like huge.
That's something we'll have to come up with. We can either use that one or we can trim it down. Depending on what our thoughts are. But you need the same one, we can-
I put the GA form, see what it looks like.
It's a lot.
It could be.
Well, right, because you're looking at income, you're looking at resources, and you're looking at what else did you apply for?
Right, what other
Yeah.
options were there?
And expenses.
Which, I mean, if we're looking at providing assistance, because we have additional funds besides general assistance funds. that it should be the same thing, but if it's
That's
specifically
usually-
for heat.
Call Roxbury, they had to have gotten the same thing.
Possible,
So,
I don't know,
yeah, call Roxbury and see if they got,
Carthage might have, I don't
Yeah.
know, I don't know if they gave it to all towns or just certain ones, but,
But also, there's limited funds too, so you gotta.
right.
right,
And after that, 3,000 is gone, that,
It is
the other
gone.
disaster account that's. Not heating assistance, that's.
Right.
Yeah,
yeah, I was going that.
right, that's something different, so,
Mhm,
or different category, I should say.
mhm. But yeah, we should say this is specifically for heating assistance, and these are the,
Mhm.
you know, you gotta meet the general assistance guidelines.
All right, so we will table that request until our next meeting pending further info. And move on to budget committee member appointments. I have one in front of me. I don't know what other ones you have over there.
Appointments for Raven and Jody.
Okay. Do we have any other people that have put in forms? Okay, so I have one for Brian Jordan.
Budget committee, please.
Tom?
So that.
Tom, Sean, Mrs. Sean, Sherry, Jason.
Sherry?
Diane.
No, you need two more.
You need two more.
Two, you need two more. You have three now, you need two more. Yeah. Anybody?
Please.
I got that.
Usually on Mondays, but we haven't picked it yet this year. Usually it's either Monday or Wednesday.
Every Monday?
Yep.
No. But it's only a short.
A month.
Well, usually it's either at least every Monday, sometimes we switch it to every other, depending on
But it's only.
how much we can squish into a.
Yeah.
It'll start probably first week of February and run until
We get.
right
budget.
about tax day. Usually tax day is the final deadline.
You have to know, tell you right now. They'll
Nope.
let you know.
Yep.
They haven't told us it's tomorrow.
Yes.
You have a good sense of numbers.
Yes, exactly.
I'd have Aaron put it up prior to.
Yep,
Can I nominate my wife even though she's not here?
definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
We can approve her tonight and everything.
You'll be told, we're good.
We'll fill out the application form.
Exactly. There's no signature.
Reorganized. Last year went real quick, so not bad.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Hmm?
I mean, they're
We'll need
Yeah,
motions.
an hour
and-
tops. most
Yep,
of the
we'll need
time.
motions for both of those and for Brian Jordan as well.
Oh, I can't do anything.
I make a motion to approve Robin McClintock, Brian Jordan, and Jody Larrabee for budget committee. Second.
Have a motion and a second for three new members to the budget committee. Well, one new and two veterans. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstained?
I abstain.
Congratulations, welcome. Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back, welcome back.
My first year.
Yeah,
Yes. Your first year's chair, okay.
you gotta learn something new all the time, so. Isn't that the saying, keeps you young if you learn something new?
Pretty old now.
Yeah, just make sure it goes out like prior, just.
Yep.
Well.
You have that, Angie, do you have that on Aaron's list to add to the crier? Thank you. And then also he can post it on Facebook again as well, that we're still looking for two more volunteers.
Oh,
Do I sign this one or not sign this one?
It's no,
My
I wouldn't.
husband's.
Nope.
Assigned Robin's. Oh, God.
No, because, Brian just, okay,
oh, okay.
she's gonna draft that up first. All right, on to Transco copier lease. Transco wants us to
They
replace
want
it.
to upgrade it, yes, and at no extra cost.
Does that mean it won't jinx every time I
That's
go near
I can't make promises about that.
it? I'm telling you.
So they wanna upgrade at no cost to us?
Yeah, it'll be the same cost that we, they won't add any cost.
So the copier we have now, I believe is out, we should be either out of lease or 1 year left on the lease.
I'm not exactly sure.
Because if the lease is up, then, it would actually be a drop in cost if we stayed with the existing. Because all we would have to pay would be the, monthly maintenance payment, not the lease payment on top of
Let
that.
me go get the contract book.
I'll check with them.
I can tell you in a second, I think I have it. I pulled it last night at home. I keep everything. The other one started in. Oops. Valid to March of 19, so we've been.
What's actually being upgraded under the proposed new contract?
The machine,
Yeah, I think you'll find what they're doing is the lease is up, so they're just putting in a new device to get us to sign a new lease.
Oh.
And the date on the paperwork for the current copier that I had at home from the last time we did this was 2019. So 5 years would be 23. So I think what they're doing is the lease is up, so they're trying to renew the lease. If this one's still working okay, I don't know why I wouldn't sign a new lease with them just because if they'll still do the, I guess the question to them would be, what would the maintenance cost per month be without doing a new lease? For our existing copier.
since the lease ran out.
I believe it sounds like, my guess would be sometime between now and June. Because the pricing on their quote for the last round was valid until March 19. So it's probably sometime between now and June.
Which explains the no cost change.
Right, that's what I mean, there's no, and the reason I
Releasing.
say that is it's the process we go through with Transco at the school too. Usually we get it every 4th year because they want us to sign a year early because it just keeps bumping us 5 years out every time. So that's something that, like I say, for me, if it's still working good, I would question them on what the cost would be on service and maintenance to keep the existing, and look at the possibility of upgrading down the road. Just to see what we could do. And then if it's crazy different, if it's not a large difference, then maybe we should look at upgrading, but if there is a large difference in cost, I think we're probably better at this point to stick with it for a little bit.
I would agree with that.
Alright. Wait for more info back from them. All right, personnel policy holiday pay discussion.
So Andy had approached me, as our current personnel policy stands, their holiday pay does not count as time worked. So any of these weeks that they've been plowing at whatever time and getting overtime. The example he brought up to me was whichever week, he had 53 hours of time, but only 3 of that counted as overtime. Because of the holiday pay thing. I don't think that's right.
Why would that be?
That's the way it's written.
Because our personnel policy states that holiday pay does not
Count as.
count as work time.
And
That
I.
needs to be changed.
So if
That's why
he
we're here to
works
talk about
40
it.
hours and then gets, and it's a holiday week, he'd get 48 hours of straight time.
Correct.
Because that's not an extra amount, it's not, he didn't work over 40 hours.
Right. I don't think that's fair to any employee. I mean, you shouldn't be penalized because you're having to work overtime during the holiday week is my theory.
And especially when depending on the holiday, there may be some people that aren't working but getting paid straight time. And then you also have people that are required to come in and work on those holidays that are getting straight time.
No, they
which
should get paid
I
double
feel they
time
should
for
get
holiday.
their a total of 2.5 times, which would be their normal pay for the holiday, plus the time and a half of overtime. Which would be, I mean, they're expected to come in.
Yeah, the holiday should count as regular time, and anything over 40 is overtime.
Agreed.
Right, so if someone works 40 hours. And they get paid for 40 hours plus their 8 hours of holiday time, if they didn't work any 40 hours, then they're good.
Mhm.
But if they worked 48 hours plus got holiday, they should get hit that 48 hours of straight time for the 40 hours worked and 8 hours of holiday, and then time and a half overtime.
You gotta go further on that one.
No, 40 hours worked.
Yeah.
Plus 8 hours of holiday, so that'd be 48 hours of straight
Total.
time. And then plus, no, wait. If they worked 48 hours,
Yeah,
plus got 8 hours holiday. They would get their 40 hours of straight time plus their 8 hours of holiday plus 8 hours time and a half
of overtime, correct.
of overtime.
Yeah. I see.
Yeah.
So you wanna get my left interject? Wait a minute.
You can.
Sounds like you're proposing paying them double time and a half.
Correct. So if you work on a holiday, you get 2.5 times.
If you
No.
worked 40 hours,
Right.
if you worked 40 hours.
If you work, right,
Right.
in order to get your overtime, if you were at the
So if-
overtime mark, you would get 2.5
Someone
times.
works 35 hours in a holiday, you get 40 hours plus the
3 hours.
3 hours over,
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
yes.
The only one where we
40
would,
plus 8 plus 8.
Can I work on the down?
yeah,
No.
yeah.
You knew what I
8
meant.
plus 6. So
That's
what?
not what you said, though.
So kind of what we're throwing back and forth for language to change in under the holiday pay section of the personnel policy. We'll be changing it to holiday pay shall count as hours worked. Any hours worked on a holiday shall be paid at a rate of time and a half in addition to their holiday pay.
No,
No.
because if they work less than 40 hours, they wouldn't necessarily
Sure.
get, they would get double time on the holiday. If they work 32
still-
hours a week,
Regardless of the amount of hours, or at least in my opinion, regardless of the amount of hours somebody puts in. If you're working on a holiday that you're not normally scheduled for, it's 2.5 times pay. Whether I have 30 hours or 40,
Can you write that?
the hours on the holiday.
yeah, can you, I mean, gee, I wish you ran all the companies I worked for.
I'm just going off what we do at the school.
Yeah,
It's, the contracts at the school are,
Yeah.
if you work on a holiday, it's 2.5 times.
yeah,
But
Generous.
yeah, that is very
I was
generous.
gonna say, we have a sewer
Huh?
superintendent who does not work 40 hours,
Right.
but he works on holidays, so you're gonna have.
You should get double time on the holiday.
Right, but I'm saying it's gotta be
I wouldn't
not
say,
at 40, it's gotta be.
right, no,
Right,
that's, yeah, so. I think that if somebody works a holiday. They should get paid their holiday pay plus their time worked. If it's straight time, so that would be just double time. If
that's what she's saying.
they are on overtime and working that holiday, they would get paid the double time and a half because it's overtime on
Correct.
top of working a
Correct.
holiday.
Yes,
That's what I'm thinking.
And it's in that week period.
Mhm. So holiday would be, if you work on a holiday, you would get paid double
Over.
time unless it's
2.5.
overtime.
if it's under 40, it's 2.
Mhm. Correct.
Over 42 and a half, if under 2, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We have draft language. The other, let me come back next time, don't worry.
Read it.
Yeah, no, it'll come back before we vote on it anyways. So what we'll do, we will,
I can do that in 2 seconds.
that works, if you want to do it before,
Can I make a suggestion?
you can.
Am I allowed to?
No,
See,
See, this is why I asked you to join the budget committee.
Should there be something in there that states, like, let's say I'm single, don't have kids, it's Thanksgiving and I wanna come to work.
With supervisor approval.
Right, but I'm wondering if it should be, the whole thing came about probably because someone had to plow during a holiday, I'm
Mhm.
assuming. So why don't you make it, if you get called in on a holiday, that's when you get that stipulated.
It is.
consent. So it's not an option
Thank you for the
for
action.
somebody to say, you know what, I'm gonna get
Thank you.
double time and a half and work Thanksgiving because I'm not going in.
I'm looking for the actual policy
It-
now, but I'm
there
pretty
is
sure that it's
something,
in there already about,
Yeah.
approval on.
I don't have it with me, but
I'll find that in a second.
The volunteering, approval on volunteering.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it already talks about, having to call in or get approval for working on the holiday anyways.
And it's probably I would have.
Or give them a floating holiday. So, hey, you know what, instead, we're just gonna pay you what normally it would be, but if you want, we'll pay you an extra day next week and take the day off.
I'm not supposed to do
You
that.
could give them that option.
Yeah, technically, depending on who you talk to, comp time is not necessarily the right thing to do.
No, something,
So-
we would have to pick a holiday and say this holiday.
So any,
For example, a lot of agencies do Martin Luther King Day as a floating holiday. So like, yes, it's a holiday, you're owed holiday pay, but you don't have to take this particular day off. You can take any day off as a holiday, you know what I'm saying? I think that's how you would need to write it for labor law.
And which holidays would you guys be talking about? Like ones that the town office would be closed or like banks would be closed?
The 15th.
I think what this came up as, with the recent storms that we've had and how our, policy was written to where, you know, it was, people felt like they were not compensated for it. I think that's how it came
I'm
up,
working on, I'm working.
We'll still bring it back.
but I'm assuming because it didn't come up to me.
Because we had that in the policy, but we decided anyway, so.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
Let's begin.
So what we'll do, we'll flush out the language a little bit, and send it out to everybody to review and look at bringing it back at our next meeting for approval.
Retroactive.
And then also looking at, the office pulled together, the hours since July 1st. On, the overtime that we have for those on holiday weeks, which we do actually have, we have 3 employees that had, or that would benefit from the change. So I'll make copies of this and get you guys all a copy, and then we can talk about it next time.
Yeah, we've had quite a few storms on holidays.
Yeah.
The way things have fallen between storms and election days and things like
Yeah.
that, being on holiday weeks, it
Yep,
adds up for everybody.
yep.
So, so we'll make copies of that and give that to you guys, and then also, like I say, we'll get some language drafted and look at bringing it back at our next meeting. All right, town-owned land. So Carol and I got together Thursday last week, before the planning board meeting and sat down. We've been talking about for, I don't know, a couple of years, yeah, a couple, 3, 4, 5 years now. Coming up with a, form for those that are using town-owned land or those that may want to use town-owned land. The FEMA bio properties, just an agreement paper, because a lot of them were done. They were all done in votes at selectmen's meetings, but finding some of those papers has been a little difficult, in the minutes and stuff. So we just want to go through and make sure we have a file with everybody's paper in it on what they're using, what they're using it for. So we used the, paper that was drafted last year, I think.
Yes.
About a year ago, and I can hand around a copy of it.
Everyone's seen except for one.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this. You've seen this, right?
So we came up with, by going through the maps and looking at all the different properties and through the buyout documents, we came up with 1, 2, 5, 10 lots that are currently used by various townspeople for different things. There is one of those that we need to look at before we sign the paperwork for. And then the rest of those are lots mainly on School Street. And there's 3 on Cross Street.
How many total buyout lots are there? Did you find that number?
63.
61 or 3, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's quite a few.
Yeah.
I can show you my highlighted map that has all the different
Yeah,
colors on
no,
it.
just- actually,
So,
Yep. Yeah, so we can,
it's only one on question.
that one, the
Oh,
2 of
that's
those
right.
are on Cross Street as
Oh,
well.
they call it Cross instead of?
Yep,
Okay.
those are actually on,
Yeah.
well, that one on the corner of Cross and School Street.
Yeah.
So is
That one's
there,
on Cross Street and that's on School Street.
remind me, is there an application process for all this? How does this all work if somebody is interested in it? How do they?
So currently there is not an application process. It's always been, if it's something you wanted,
This is
you
just
could-
like that you are though, this isn't that.
right? No, the way it was done, when the buyout stuff went through, anybody that was interested could come in and say, you know, hey, I'm interested in using that lot, whatever the number, for this purpose, and then the board would vote on it.
What are the stipulations as far as how you, I mean, obviously you can't, we know you can't put a structure on it, but.
Yep.
Other than that, you can change the, I mean,
Um,
trees, you know, like those kind of things.
There's, in the, land conservation book, there is a section. Land use conservation plan, there is a section at the beginning that talks about, permitted uses. Find it. And it can be anything from, gardens, agriculture, talks about starting new garden plots, playing fields, trails, natural resources. And there were a few that were identified when the actual buyout went through, or when this plan was written, is where a majority of these were, part of. Because there's only been one, two, I think 3. Yeah, I believe there's only been 3 additional above what was in the original land use plan. Like I say, a lot of it is just for us to clean up some paperwork and make sure that we have documents, because right now there's nothing in writing that says how the town says you can't use it anymore.
Yeah,
For example, we have one property on Pleasant Street that we need to look at. Because there is a large amount of junk piled on the property. And that's primarily what it's being used for right now, as a dumping ground. Brian?
I'll say, when we got permission, we had a landowner permit from the ATV club that we always signed. We used to renew it every year.
Yep.
The last few years, we signed it for 5 years.
Yep.
But thing is too, that we was always said, if something comes up, let us know. We always had it in writing.
Yeah, and the snowmobile club has a landowner's
Yeah,
permit as well.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah, those are longer terms. Like I said, the hard part with these, there was just nothing in writing for these
Yeah.
properties, so we wanted to get something done. In writing with
you never
these.
know, it's.
Yep.
It could be a lot.
Yep. So that's just something that we're looking to send these out, if the board is good with it. The only difference between the regular lot uses and the agriculture was we were looking at, for the agricultural wording, because of the amount of, prep work that comes with agricultural, changing number 2 to, use of said property is subject to the approval of the Canton Board of Selectmen and will continue as long as desired, assuming the guidelines written in the plan are followed. And then it goes into the same number 3, in the event of termination of this agreement, the above parties responsible, will assume any and all costs with removing the items after the agreement is signed.
So, and yeah, I'm with Christie, should we look at an application process?
Mhm.
And then that be the contract?
We could. Like I say, we were just dealing with those that were already approved. We weren't looking at the new stuff. We were just trying to clean up the old ones.
Well, and I'm just thinking like, once, people are, well, we can use town property,
I would just.
you know,
sign that.
Yeah.
there might be people interested in, wanting to.
Mhm.
Utilize some town property for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
The hard part is a lot of what's left is, there isn't a lot you can do with. There's a couple.
Right.
There's a few on School Street you could do something with, and the rest are either grown up or not really for any use, but open space, trails,
Disc golf.
possibly. Rec department could work on that.
Yeah.
I was just thinking the town garden again, like.
Town garden.
For
Mhm.
people wanting to do a plot or something.
The hard part before is
I know.
having people follow through with it that was the issue.
Farmers market.
Is there a quick question? The land use plan you're referring to, what is that?
It is the Town of Canton, Maine Land Use Land Conservation Plan dated October of 07. And thanks to our ATV club president, he had a copy because the office copy was missing. So the office now has a new copy,
I was.
and there's a few
on
other
that- I was
copies
on
around
that
now.
committee, Did it. I worked with the state.
Mhm.
It didn't sound, Brian, like anything you said there, that if this agreement like was terminated, but didn't say who terminates it, or what conditions is it terminated, how
Board
often
of
it's
Selectmen.
reviewed.
Board of,
It felt very open-ended.
It's the same one that I had done last year. You had seen it when I did it last year.
use of this said property is subject to the approval of the Board of Selectmen and can be rescinded at any time with a 30-day notice of the above conditions met.
Thank you.
We'll, like I say, we can look into the other stuff further. This was just trying to clean up the paperwork side of ones that were already approved.
Yeah, I'm good with that being like a contract of land use, yeah.
Mhm. And I think it's just,
Right now, some of them use it, they could trash it.
right,
What
and
they're doing.
like I said, the biggest thing we're trying to do is we have one property that needs to be cleaned up, but because we don't have anything in writing, we can't push to get them to clean it up because we never had an agreement with them to start with. In writing,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
it was agreed to at a selectmen's meeting, and it does say it in the minutes that they're allowed to use the property, but it doesn't say what that, yeah, you have to keep it clean, you can't do junkyards. So this will cover that and keep us good going forward. Right,
There you go.
Sherry?
I was just thinking, in years past, we've heard terms like squatters' rights or whatever.
Mhm.
That would, I don't know if that's a thing in Maine,
I don't know, maybe.
but would this protect those properties from somebody
Yes.
just taking over this? It's mine and
Yeah.
It would. Yeah. Yeah, and they all have the deed restriction, the FEMA deed restrictions anyways, so there's only certain things you can't build and you can't do things, but. At least gives us something to kind of fall back on. Alright. We can, what I'll do, yeah, we gotta retype this a couple, there's a spelling thing on this one too.
No,
There is. So like I say, what I'll do, I will send out this and then we can vote on them at the next meeting. But I'll send out the list of the people and the lot numbers that they're using.
So
That way you guys can all look at them on the map and,
yeah,
the only thing that I would recommend is that we reach out to these people
Mhm.
beforehand to know that a letter is coming.
Yeah.
right,
Mm.
yeah.
So they're not looking at it like, what's this all about?
Well, we have already reached out to one landowner too, because we were trying to find out, or land user, because we were trying to find out. Because that one, I was 99% sure we gave them something in writing. So we've talked to one of the landowners already just to see. What if they did have something in writing, what they had, what they didn't, and explain to them that, look, we're trying to clean up paperwork, and. My thought would be either we can reach out to them or we can just add a short paragraph attached to this, just saying, this is the reason you're getting a letter and.
Or an
Gotta go from there.
additional
Yeah.
Right, additional page or
Right.
Sounds good. We'll bring that stuff back at the next meeting as well and try to get that project taken care of.
Oops, I got another one.
Yeah, fence is something we've been working on for 4 years. NIMS compliance training.
This is gonna be kind of the FEMA requires that we be in compliance with NIMS, which is the National, yeah. After 9/11, they found that people just weren't communicating the same everywhere, so they implemented this system. And going through it, noting that our paperwork issue is not complete. There are a lot of people that are required to be compliant, including our public works people. The sewer, our sewer worker, our transfer station attendant. Of course, the fire department's all covered. Local government officials, so all of us need to have the 402, G402. So I want to make a folder in here that if people have the certificates they need, we get it all in one place. If they need to take one of these, all of these are online. I think the ones that are needed are online and can be done. If we can get these done by like the end of February. These classes don't take very long to do,
Get that
but
URL for his folder.
I just need a copy.
You might want your original.
Um, Just if anything, you need to be compliant to receive any FEMA funds. And like I said, with the paperwork issues that we've been having, I wanna make sure we have all the certificates we need and the people that don't have what they need, if we can get that done.
Absolutely.
Mine's in my personal file.
I'll make a
Might
copy
as
for
well.
you.
Yeah, just. need
I need to
copies.
do the. Well, I haven't done it.
Okay. That's the only one that is.
That's an
structural
actual,
course. So,
that's an actual course you have to go take.
Yeah.
Good times.
hour of your life, that.
Take caffeine.
Yeah.
Then
You'll
you'll
need the
never
caffeine.
get back.
It wasn't that bad.
When they got offered.
I will reach out to them to see if there's any planned classes. for that.
Well, and us being out of compliance could give us a financial hit, like,
Well, if,
as far as fines and stuff go when we're audited.
yeah, if you come around to get audited and they're not in
Yeah.
compliance, then.
They don't like you.
Right,
Right.
then you have corrective action,
I like those.
right?
Just like the Bureau of Labor, they stopped it and we have all these, let's get ahead of the curve and.
Yeah.
be done with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a great
Is
idea
that-
to have a
I
folder.
think by the end of February, that gives 6 weeks for
I think it's
people,
plenty of time.
the people that need it.
Yep. If we need additional time, then.
They can either do it at home or get access to a computer to do
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
The G4 and 2 I went to in South Paris, not that bad.
I went to Buckfield, so.
Yeah, we went to
they're-
Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico.
Went to Mexico years ago. Is there anything, which makes me think, is there anything on these, in terms of, no, just timeframes of. You have to read them every so often
No,
or
once you do it, you're
lifetime? Okay,
But like Andy, I don't know if he had to do anything. At Lamar Falls, because he wasn't the,
I don't
well, he was a
believe so.
public,
Yeah, but I
he's a
don't,
public works person,
right.
which is their required. And actually,
I
there's
think that was one of our gigs.
one that I have to do, because I've never heard of the 703 before, so I gotta go look to figure out what that is.
So if Andy did it in Livermore before he came to us and he had a copy of all of his stuff, would
He
that
could
count?
bring a
Yeah,
copy of the
perfect.
certificates and be
Yep.
done with it.
Perfect, okay.
Yeah, so people who have already been
I'll report.
through it don't have to do it again, we just need a copy as long as they have a
Proven if they did it.
Right, yeah.
Mhm,
I didn't think he had, yeah.
okay.
I guess I would say, for each of us to look through the list and see which ones either we need to take individually or our departments need to take, and then.
Well, it's gonna be,
I've got 3 of them. Dave and Andy.
yeah,
And depending on, do you count Randy as a part-time?
Yeah, what do you do
Seasonal.
in case of a seasonal, do they have to?
and I wouldn't necessarily, he's not a full-time, well.
He's a full-time, part-time.
He's a call-in though.
Right. He's an at will,
At
on
large.
call, on call. Boy. Just like the seasonal or
Yeah. Summer help.
lawn or summer help. I would say no. So, yeah, I think you got all. But I'll try to see what they have planned to go forward to.
Okay.
Can't we find one online, all 3 of them and sit here? Do one day,
They could all sit together and do
They
it.
could.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so,
No, they can just plug the
They can
laptop
sit
into the
here
projector
and
and
go through it and then
Yep.
they'd have to take their own tests or whatever.
Yep.
I think there's test at the end.
yeah, but they can at least work through it together and.
Yeah.
And then all log on separately for a test.
and you don't even know what this is.
Yeah. Exactly.
Incentive. pay.
We might have to.
I will say that they can do it on work time, just won't work overtime.
Not overtime.
And not on a holiday.
I'm pretty sure I got 3 of them won't come in on a holiday. For that.
All right. Other business,
Yes. Couple
Rob.
things. Last fall, we had the Hartford four-wheeler club came
I
in.
was gonna mention that tonight.
Yes, we talked about getting together, having a question on June meeting, whether we wanna open the roads to being four-wheeler access or
I
access.
didn't want to access, but I come tonight too to discuss it, to see what questions, who you'd like to have come. To give their opinion. I got Brian Milligan that works for the state. As we figured I'd get this going while ATV season. Whenever you guys convenient to talk and see what questions you have and see if we can get the people that. Somebody that knows what's going on, get the game warden.
So glad you came.
Huh?
Sounds like you're volunteering to organize this.
What, both clubs are working on, it,
Right,
and we didn't wanna, they wanted to do it early, and I says. Between election. Taxes,
Mhm.
and, you know, first year, I said, wait till January or February, and we can sit down when you guys are not so crazy and discuss a little more about it and get things going.
so we had talked about having
An
your
informational
club, the
session.
Hartford Club,
Staples
Yeah.
Hill residents.
Staple Hill residents, a representative from the sheriff's department,
Yeah,
a representative from the warden service.
Yeah.
and see what
And
their.
anybody from
everybody's
the state,
opinion, Yeah.
just to
to
get
their
together.
opinions and to make sure we got all of our eyes dotted, so when they do ask questions, we ain't standing there well.
Right, so we have an informational meeting.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So my thought was if we could have this meeting sometime in February, towards the end of February.
he was hoping maybe the next meeting to see what you guys have. Opinions, who you'd like to have, and we could discuss who should be what, so everything is on.
If you wanna do that, that's fine, but I think the general
Yeah.
public meeting,
Oh, yes,
towards the
that's,
end of
that
February.
should be, that definitely has gotta be,
Mm-hmm.
so the citizens on Staples Hill know what's, have a clue and.
right, I just wanna get that, we're not
Yeah.
losing that, so we can still have that question on June.
Mhm.
whether
Mhm.
that's-
That's what
I'd
I'm
like
trying
to-
to decide how to do
We
that.
can come to the next meeting, it's, so he feels, Dave feels more comfortable, too, so
Mhm.
we're all have at least some ideas and.
Yeah,
You know,
I think that's
not-
a,
You know, get it started, and then, like you said, February, you have everything.
Well, I figure the end of February, early March,
Yeah.
something, you know, you can't. wait too long,
No,
but
no.
you don't wanna have it so far ahead of the town meeting that everybody forgets.
Well, then,
what's
yeah,
going on.
yeah, that's what I wanted,
Every year.
I was thinking that, just, was, get everybody. At least if you have some questions, to ask county sheriff what, on traffic, game one, and who you got, if there is something that goes out of hand, if it was approved.
My opinion is,
Yeah.
those people I just told you about, the ones
Yeah.
we
Oh, yeah,
discussed
yeah, yeah.
earlier, if we could have
They would be the
representatives of that
Yeah,
group
well,
of
they
people.
could answer the questions that we would have no clue, I mean, and they'd give us more of an idea what's going on too, definitely.
Right, I mean, at a big meeting involving everybody,
Right.
Yeah,
to have representatives of that group. And that way, anybody, if somebody on Staples Hill has a question.
oh, yeah,
for-
but then, yeah, that, I've already talked to the guy. State rep, not state rep, the state guy that works with us building the trails, he knows a lot about access roads. Different.
So he may be a good resource.
Well,
to
yeah,
bring in.
because I mentioned it to him, the city, I mentioned was gonna start working on this. And I wanted his opinion, because he knows all about signage or whatever, or he could see something that we didn't see. And I talked to Malcolm Ray.
Yep.
On the road safety, when he had some concerns on certain things that should be brought up, so. If something does, the town doesn't give us permission, people say, well, that's right, that this here might be a blind driveway,
Mhm.
or more concerns on speeding and.
Right.
But definitely,
That's what the intent of the big discussion is all about, to get
Yeah.
everybody's opinions and
Well,
get anything.
what Dave said, he wanted to at least know we could get a hold of these guys. Find out, if we got game one's number, this, and get everything coordinated when they can come.
Right,
And inform you guys what their opinion, and then when we do have a big one, that they can be there too to answer all the questions. There won't be a
did I
blind.
still hear that that was a volunteer to organize this?
So,
You mentioned this, so I thought you was,
So I'll
no,
throw-
the clubs are gonna work together.
Okay.
That was basically. the
let me
meeting.
throw out, February 29th, 6 o'clock
Yeah.
here. For a public meeting on ATV road access,
Nine?
February 29.
And this only be for Staples Hill.
No. Well,
I'm just.
in my opinion, yes, that's the focus, but
Yeah,
I think
well, that's-
when we're here, we should discuss it for the entire town.
My thing is.
That we're discussing it once versus,
If the
15
road
times.
access is improved, we have to have signs every quarter mile.
Right.
Yep.
And they have to be DOT approved signs.
Yeah.
And they don't give them away.
Yeah.
Cause I've bought some and
Mhm.
from what just on our end, it could cost $1,000+.
Mhm.
Well, that's a chunk of change.
it could also come out of town money if the town.
Well,
approves it as a town
that's-
access route.
That's,
then it's town signage.
that's if it's
So
approved and
it's-
everything, cause it.
And that's pretty minimal cost if it brings in a lot more economy to the town.
Right,
Oh, yeah,
Agreed.
yeah, but, you gotta think both ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, but it's like I
It's
told
just-
them told them that, I don't mind taking care of our end. But
Yeah.
I'd like to have a meeting before that, so we know who we should have come.
So you wanna be at our next meeting?
I would like to, so Dave would feel comfortable, and then we could get a hold of these people once.
I think we already know. Don't we?
well,
'Cause
I
I think
mean,
you listed them off.
That's who we talked about before.
I
But
mean,
if-
to me, that makes sense.
but if the president of the Hartford
I want it
ATV
involved.
club
I don't
wants
want-
to
I
come
don't want
and
it
ask
that I just kind of
questions.
snuck it in and say, well, I'd rather have him
Mhm.
know what's going on, so.
I'm okay with it being on the agenda for the next
Yeah. we'll
select board
discuss,
meeting,
He just wanna know who we should have,
yeah,
and basically we've got it, but.
Yeah.
Let him know, cause he's a go-getter, so he can do a lot of the.
yeah, the two of you can run around together, you guys gonna co-facilitate this.
No, but it's better they're the ones that really want it.
Right.
I've got my certain opinions too, but it's like, but like you said, it bring more to the town.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
But I
Right.
think setting an actual date for the meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
February
Yeah.
29th, I like
What time?
6
6
P.M.
o'clock here.
Angie, can you put the ATV, Hartford and Canton ATV on the agenda?
And I'll-
Thank you.
See, when's your next meeting?
That's a Thursday?
Next meeting will be the 25th.
January.
Yeah, because there's an extra Thursday in February,
Thursday,
so it fits. When I pulled up
And
the
that
calendar,
gives
yeah.
us a month to
Well,
then
I mean, if
advertise
this-
and
if,
put
you
out the
know,
meeting.
And to me, if we forgot somebody else might say, well, gee, you might have
Mhm.
such and such. You know,
But that gives you guys a month to plan and.
I'm going on vacation, I'm getting double time and a half, double time, holidays. But thank you.
What else you got, Rob?
The other thing I had was, that preliminary DOT, Department of Labor, Bureau of Labor, whatever it was. There was a lot of, like bloodborne pathogens and training that needed to be done with employees. We talked about holding an employee meeting. If we do that, you can get all that done,
Mhm.
run the videos, get them to sign off on it. And that's done.
Do you guys have a lot too that need to do that?
We do all that,
We do all that separately, but
but did we get a report back from them?
Not a final.
No, we haven't gotten the
She's working
actual.
on it, she called today, she was wondering if, what she's missing, and we'll get cited for if we don't have it, is the confined space program. The actual program written down, specifically the sewer department.
do they have one?
No, because when she asked Dave, he said fire department and you guys don't qualify. So.
You would still have to have a confined space plan.
He would
Right, I don't
It's
know.
nothing to do with us.
Yeah, I know, I don't know whether that, if there is one or not. That's first.
Well, we need to dig. And if not, we'll get Paul involved. We're all worried about that too. So.
Well, he said he's willing to help out, I think, safety stuff in town.
Mhm.
I'm wondering if John Cronin has something.
He might, because
Well, it should be in our sewer office.
it may be.
I mean,
I'll ask
A
him.
confined space plan we should have record of it in the office up there. Right,
Yeah, it should be.
that's the thing, there has to be one somewhere.
Just like the walkout tagout procedure for the transfer station. I know we did it.
Mhm.
When we had that up there,
Oh, because we had to buy the special locks for it,
right, and
so.
the plan was up there at one point,
Mhm.
but where it is now, I don't know, so. I'll check with Jim on Saturday,
Mhm.
see if we can wrangle that up.
Email us themselves. I know.
Nothing else to do, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you wanna set up an employee meeting to get all that other stuff done. And I know it was listed for the highway crew,
All of them, everybody, office, everybody.
then I would do it all at once.
Yeah.
Get everybody involved.
Yep,
I don't know if you wanted to set a date or talk about it.
I was just looking at the calendar, trying to figure out the date.
So while he's looking at the calendar, Angie, did we send out a reminder to the Hayford Court residents that during snowstorms, there's a parking ban on their street that they're, yeah, we did it. Did we do it?
Not last, it was last year, it was before Paul left.
Yeah. Yep, so there should be a letter somewhere on one of the computers that. Because we had problems with one individual parking in the street. Yeah,
Hmm,
and he was. Not pleasant.
what are you guys thinking of for a time for the employee meeting? We're trying to do it during the day and afternoon, evening, what are we looking for?
I'm not able to participate during the day.
Neither am I, as far as that.
I would say,
How much time are we talking?
I think you got a better chance of getting them here if it's during the day and afternoon.
The hard part's gonna be, well, and the hard part's gonna be too, if we try to do it after hours, then we're looking at possibly playing overtime.
Right. No, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna wanna come in after hours to watch a bloodborne. match, you know? I mean, so-
No, it's gonna need to happen during the day.
Didn't you guys have something set up? I know when Russell was on the board. Wasn't there something through MMA where you could do it online?
Yes, used to be. You could click through it. It was, I don't know what the one at MMA is called, but we have one through, school management, it's basically the same thing. You go through, you assign what modules you want people to do, and they have to do those modules.
And when I worked
Log
for a
in the computer
nonprofit, it was
and-
the same thing. You could assign it to people.
So MMA has that?
Yes, I
Someone,
believe
Maybe
so.
that's gonna be easier then.
We can find
Yeah.
out.
Still, I think you ought to do. Employee meeting like we always used to do. We did it for several years in a row.
Which that we did in the evening. Yeah, because I think we usually kept it to an hour.
no, I think it's a good idea to have an employees meeting. Yeah, but if they can do bloodborne pathogens outside of that meeting.
I didn't know that was an option.
I'll have to look at the name of it. I don't have it with me. I'll look it up.
Just let me know when you find it.
Yep.
I gotta talk to all three about nets too, so.
What do your calendars look like? When do you guys want to pick a date
What are we talking now? Which
for an
date?
employee meeting? And then we're also, I forgot what we're gonna talk about.
My social calendar's booked for that.
Are we thinking February or after February?
Probably February at this point, I mean, it's going into January.
Right,
Mm.
January for me, it's pretty booked, so for me, it's.
My schedule looks the same every week.
No, I'm out.
Are you thinking to do it? Like, head of a selectmen's meeting an hour before
Yeah, like
or?
5 o'clock before the meeting.
Okay.
Either 4:30 or 5 o'clock on a selectmen's meeting night,
That works.
then we can do it one right after another and. Gotta be here anyways, so.
5 o'clock before a selectmen's meeting works for me.
Go the 8th,
Sure.
I can't do the
I'm on call, but
okay,
as soon as you can, it just takes the majority. of it.
basketball schedule. I can't. That's the final basketball game of the season. I'm not missing.
yeah,
Oh, come on, Christie.
the week of the 19th is out for me. And hopefully you do.
Yeah, yeah,
Hopefully.
hopefully. Yeah.
Or we do it on an off night, or we do it. Up to you guys, tell me the date, and we'll stick it in.
Let's do it February 29th at 5 o'clock. We're gonna be here for 6 o'clock anyways.
That's an off week, so.
There you go.
True story.
all right.
Who's required to be at said meeting?
You.
Holiday either.
Oh, that's a good question.
We've gone back and forth on that in the past, so I'm up for anything. We had the fire department come in at everybody come in at one point, and then we didn't, so I'm not sure. What you guys think?
Everybody, like the whole department.
Yeah, we had everybody come in one time.
Mm.
It's been a while. Yeah, cause we had the room full at one point.
I think that was the very first one, then we decided that.
I think we,
16. Counting two years.
I'm thinking,
I don't think it really
Get
needs to.
everybody- I'm not gonna get everybody here on the day.
Yeah.
Right, no, I was just,
No,
Mm.
I'm not sure it needs to.
The Canton Fire Annex and Hartford is spread out all over the state. So.
right,
Yep.
Mhm.
I'd say if you and I can make it, and then maybe Paul. Yeah, there's one.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say everybody.
then if there is something that needs to get passed on, you guys could pass it down.
February 29th.
5 o'clock.
Okay. But we'll come up with a list of who we want to be there and make sure we invite everybody. And also come up with our list of what we want to talk about.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna have to have something to talk about. It's
Yeah.
good to be met with resistance.
We'll come up with the list between now and then.
Right. My point of that was to get the training stuff done, and that was,
Yeah,
but if you can do it separately.
we will, I believe we can.
Mhm.
We'll reach out.
Maybe
Okay,
we can do a team building activity.
I wanna go to the axe throwing one.
All right, next agenda item.
Agenda.
Well, other items.
So the auxiliary has something that fall under this.
Sure.
Sure.
So the fire department has not asked us for much over the past few years, and we've done well with our Wreath Festival and Cornwall tournaments. And we have enough money for them to work on a project that they feel is important. But it is a significant amount of money. And in the past, the board has asked that we bring the donation request to you for acceptance. So they're looking at putting together a traffic control trailer. And we have agreed to allow them to spend up to $7,000 to buy said trailer and what they can fit in it with that dollar. So because it's going to be an expense for registration, insurance, whatever, we wanted to make sure you guys were okay with us doing that.
Sounds exciting.
It does.
It'd be nice to have everything all in one place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Help with that.
Okay, that's certainly up to you guys, but we have more than enough to cover that for them. We gave approval at our meeting earlier this week. They just need your approval and then they can start shopping.
Yep.
Yes.
We'll see.
I was gonna say, but I know where you can.
So, yeah, I can get you guys to come where it stops. So if you guys are looking to buy new.
We're not gonna get one for the money we have, it's still us.
You may have, yeah, you may not, unless they take something in on a trade in, they don't want to get rid of. So it's an option.
I'm talking like $5,000 max on the trailer.
Right. Looking for a closed trailer, right?
Yeah, like 7 bucks. Well, the 14, I forget what I wrote down.
Okay.
Unless they'd like to donate it, and we'll put Scotch and create.
They'll do advertising for Scott's Recreation.
That didn't happen. So I make a motion to accept the donation from the fire department auxiliary for the purpose of purchasing a
Traffic control trailer. I second.
So we're just gonna write them a check, whatever he finds, like we normally do.
And I'd like to say thank you to the auxiliary for all of the work you guys do, helping the fire department.
How did you guys make out on the wreath festival this year?
$3,006, which is $200 more than the year before.
Oh,
Nice.
And this was our 11th year. And I think the first year we did around 1,000, so
nice.
we had 88 wreaths that were all donated.
88.
Yeah, and
Holy
Linda didn't make half of those this year, so.
I never got made it there this year.
Awesome.
Didn't really get
Same.
11 years.
I won last year.
Bryce won.
Yeah.
Oh, Bryce won too. That's right. He
I think
won two
Lizzie-
wreaths.
Your mother wins all.
Yeah, Lizzie and my mother seem to be the lucky ones on our side of the river. We got a few of them. All right, any other business board?
How did we do on tax payments, Angie? Did a lot of people pay?
We have, and a lot of them came there with no bill.
Oh, no kidding.
Not just-
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Public comment. Any public comment?
Did you do the warrants?
No,
I haven't yet,
Yeah,
no, I haven't yet, sorry, I was kind of skipping around a little bit tonight.
Yeah.
On my own mind. Committee reports. Rob,
You gonna skip over them again?
yeah, I'm just gonna keep going, I'm already by it, I might as well just keep going,
Committee report.
I'll come back to it,
No,
nothing new at the transfer
although
station.
this storm that was supposed to be bad, luckily it blew over.
Yeah.
Next one's coming.
Tuesday.
We'll be calling you.
That's okay, I don't travel anymore. I think right now. Yeah, I stole, as long as I got cable TV, I
Yeah, they're keeping the Indian Day busy. And breathing.
Yeah, we're in this pattern every 3 days again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm,
Other than they're busy.
they're busy. As far as I know, sewer department's still trucking.
How did you make out with the pump situation?
He said Stevens never came, so Stevenson never came.
Okay,
Stevens. Yes, so I don't know what the issue was. The last time I heard it was potentially fumes. So.
okay. Oh, that's better than a new pump for
Yes,
10 or 12,000,
18.
or 18,000.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
Okay. Rex pretty quiet.
basketball started, the Dirigo Pee Wee, basketball, Dirigo Cup Pee Wee basketball. Started Saturday and there was an excellent showing,
Yeah.
a lot of kids. And it went off pretty awesome. That's what's going on in rec.
Christie.
Nothing other than, I forgot to mention, they did take the concrete samples and they got stuff back and they want to take more concrete samples. So they're coming in on Monday. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Of the foundation concrete or?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
at the school, yeah, in the
Yeah.
basement. So I don't know what they found yet, but they needed more, so. they'll
Oh,
come
so-
back again.
Do they need more because they potentially found?
And they need to double check on what they found.
Yeah.
Red, yes,
Oh, boy.
they just, yeah, so,
That figures.
yeah,
Yeah.
so they're gonna come back again on Monday and get more stuff.
Okay.
So.
Joyful.
Other than that, I don't have anything.
Angie. What's going on in the office?
We just did sewer billing, I'm gonna do that today, so the sewer billing is going out. I am going on vacation on Wednesday, I'll be back on the 23rd. So I'm going and going through stuff with him, every person that's come through, he's actually engaged in, so. We're doing some training, at least hands-on training, until they get their training scheduled up at motor vehicle and in the fisheries. Just waiting for the entry, but I'm waiting for those calendars.
Oh, they still haven't posted any of the training yet.
No,
Jason has something.
Mhm. Anything else? Jason?
I was working on getting quotes for repairing the siding.
Yep.
And they kind of got forgotten about it, but what's our dollar amount where it has to go out for the bid?
5.
5?
Yeah.
I thought-
Sounds right. So I'd have to go look. It's either 5 or 10. We can look.
Cause I got one quote.
Okay.
It is right now.
Yep.
Right.
Yep, yeah, we can take a look at it. I know it
No,
was
you know
discussed
what? I
top at the
think you're
10, so I
right.
think it did, but to be sure, we can check on the book.
And I-
sorry, for what?
Repairing the siding on the fire station and putting ice diverters, some reverters across the back. of it.
Signs, fine, signs.
Yes.
Get moving on it because the one I got, it sounds like you can start on it soon.
Okay,
And I thought when you asked that before too, I thought I told you 10. I thought I did.
like I say, she's checking it now, so we'll find out to make sure, but I'm pretty sure it is. Brian, what you got?
I just wondering how she come out on, ATV registration check, the club.
Still working on that. We should have that this week,
Well,
Tuesday.
okay, thank you.
I have a question too. Have we ever sent the drone to look at the status of the roof on the school?
I'll say I have mine in my truck right now, actually. But I'll have to do it.
Who's that, is it?
I'm concerned. Well,
I can, I get a game tomorrow. Depending on how crappy the weather is this weekend, I can try to swing over and put it up at some point this weekend.
All single purchases over 10 shall be an open bid
Yeah,
process.
okay.
5 to 10 is
Pretty close.
free.
But if you reached out and you haven't got anything back, then
Yeah.
just document, I reached out to so-and-so and I didn't get a quote back.
Well, I've only got the one so far, but it was like
Yeah.
10, so.
Yeah.
mhm,
Yep.
mhm,
It'd be available.
Mhm.
mhm.
Yep. Right, Angie, another thing, can you order, some signs for either probably 2 signs to stick on the back of the building out here? Just warning people of snow and falling ice. The way the back of the roof is. Yeah, right where I almost parked, so I looked up, went, nah, never mind.
Hey, look out.
Yeah.
I always park there.
I usually do, and I look up, I'm like,
I do
maybe not.
think so, I don't.
Yeah, I always park there too. So.
Question for you, Ange, on the sewer billing, do we know where we're at with liens for sewer? Cause I know we have some that have not paid for a significant amount of time. Okay, can we get that for our next meeting? Yeah, if you could, just so we can see where we're at and what we need to do.
Yeah.
Where, do you have W-2s on your radar too, I assume?
Actually,
Perfect,
full of instructions for that.
awesome, thank you. Bob, you had something else?
Regarding that, complaint for River Road,
Yep,
what is the status of that? Have you talked to her? Our
Yeah.
health officer?
Yep, I sent the email.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she hadn't had a chance to talk to the CEO. According to when Angie talked to her.
The
I
land
thought-
is not the trailer pool.
yeah. it's
why
not-
was she reaching out to the CEO?
So they could
Cause I
go,
thought
out-
she was reaching out to the ACO to go out there with her,
no, it was the.
is what the email.
That's what she told me verbally, and then when I talked to her yesterday, she said the CEO.
I said, cause the first email said ACO, that's why I was questioning that.
And the
'cause that's-
second email definitely said CEO.
Can we, okay, that makes sense.
We just need to get moving because this has been almost a month now, and if he's got somebody willing to take those cats, they need to go.
Mhm.
Um. And it's been a month, so. I
Well,
understand
and-
there's been storms and things happening, but
Is this the same residents that the ACO reached out to
Yes.
us
Yes.
about?
Right.
Same one.
So I
Yep.
mean,
That's why
yeah.
I was questioning why the difference between the CEO and the ACO, because I thought it was,
Yeah.
she was reaching out to the ACO to make that happen.
And the ACO
doesn't
wants,
need anything from us. If he's gotta trap the cats, he's gotta trap the cats.
well, he's gonna knock down a wall to trap the.
There's a hole in the wall already for the
There's
cats.
30
too.
to 40 cats.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but from my understanding
unless
is,
you have a place for them to go.
Right,
right.
Thank
Right.
you, guys. Good night.
good night, Brian.
The point is, it just needs to act.
It needs to,
Right.
How do we make it?
right,
And we.
So it-
and the length of time that
it's
it's
been a
been
month.
unaddressed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Still on a drench, so.
Mhm.
All right, so we will,
Can we request that the health officer be here at our next meeting?
I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I had sent an email about that after Angie responded, and yeah, I think that we were in
Yep.
consensus about
We could have
that.
our health officer for an executive session meeting at the next meeting, that would be great. After the meeting,
But something needs to be done before our next meeting.
right,
Yeah.
and Angie, could you also ask her when you tell her that, you have her, tell her she has until. Today's the 11th. She has until the 18th to reach out and make a plan with the animal control officer or. For the River Road property, or the board will
Huh?
make a decision to act
Oh, I did.
on it.
Right?
I don't know what else we can do.
Yeah,
Well, we're gonna have to make a decision.
That's what I mean. If she can't get to it by then we will have to. One or a few of us will have to get together with Rich and go out there and deal with it.
Mhm.
You can make that contact tomorrow. That'd be great.
is there a state health inspector that can help with those things if our town person can't, or regional health?
Regional, no.
No.
State, possibly. I would have to look into who it would be, but
Contract would
I'm
be-
sure there is a state rep,
Mhm.
probably through DHHS, probably. Um,
Yeah, that's who I'm thinking it'd probably be through.
Mhm.
We can look into that some more. All right, back to approval of the warrants. AP warrant number 49, 134,477. Payroll warrant 47, 6,076.58. 48, $5,494.91. Can I get a motion?
Make a motion to.
No, I gotta think.
Uh-huh. I second her motion.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed?
She's gonna take a picture.
No, I wasn't.
Uh-huh.
All right,
Trailer, you guys, okay?
no opposed. She was for it. She was just a little late.
Yeah.
We have no executive session tonight. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn at 7:38. All those in favor? Opposed? Great.
There's no picture.
I was gonna say, there's no picture.
It just came in.
Thank you,
Okay.
I
Brian.
just reached out